Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at our severe weather threat for the Southwest, primarily Arizona, but a little bit of New Mexico and California as well. And then we're also going to be looking at Tropical Storm Karen, which is actually gonna make a direct landfall into Puerto Rico within the next coming hours. And then we're also going to be looking at our temperatures and just kind of be explaining the pattern that's been shaping up and why we've been seeing some summer-like temperatures over much of the eastern United States. And then it's feeling almost like it's late fall over parts of the Northwest and the West, where temperatures have been peaking as highs in the mid 50s and lows in the 30s. So so definitely a big contrast in temperatures between the United States. We start at the National Weather Service here. We see in this pink over here in Arizona, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. So that's where you could be seeing severe weather over tonight and then into tomorrow. Now, that flash flood watch is in that green, also for parts of Arizona and New Mexico. That's where you could be seeing some torrential rainfall into tomorrow, where you'll just have this heavy band of rain kind of stay over southern Arizona and then into southwest New Mexico. Now we have a red flag warning over parts of northern California, and that's just going to be due to some dry conditions and some windy conditions. So that's just going to be favorable for some fires to start over that area. Now, over parts of the central United States, we're also seeing a bit of rainfall. That's why you see in that dark red, that's a flash flood warning. It's just been a bunch of rainfall dumping right over this area right in here, kind of just like this. And that's why you're seeing those flash flood warnings and coastal flood advisories and all of that. Now, here's your categorical outlook for today. Now, we have a marginal risk over here. This is for upstate New York into Vermont and then Pennsylvania. Now, then we have for Arizona, California, parts of Nevada, and even into New Mexico, you have a marginal there. Inside of that, you have a slight risk, and then an enhanced risk in there for southwest Arizona. That's where you should be seeing most of that severe weather be centered right in that area right there. Now, here's your tornado risk for today. You have a 2% chance over parts of Arizona, so definitely not out of the question. Now, here's your your chance of wind damage. You have a 5% in those browns. That's for upstate New York, Vermont, Pennsylvania, and then also for most of Arizona, California, parts, that little sliver of Nevada, and then into New Mexico. And then a 15% chance in that yellow, and that's where you could have a greater chance of wind damage. Now, here's your hail outlook. You have a 5% chance over that same area that was in as you can see, that's the same area that was in the wind damage risk, in that 5%, then a 15% in that yellow, and then in that red is a 30% chance. And then you see how it has those black lines right over here. That is because you could be, if you do see hail tonight into tomorrow, it'll be significant hail. So definitely something to watch out for. Now, here's your total precipitation, total amount of rainfall over the next 48 hours. So this would be into Wednesday morning. So you have again, that heavy banding was gonna set up right around this area, and the models have it somewhere here, some have it here, some have it here. So anywhere in this area could definitely be seeing some heavy rainfall. You will also be seeing some heavy rainfall for these areas also, as we'll talk about right now. Now this is looking at what's happening over the next 3 hours. So you see those heavy bands of rainfall over centered over southwestern Arizona, and then you just have these spotty showers over the entire state pretty much. Now, as we move on, this is 18 hours out, so this would be for tomorrow. And you see those showers are kind of expanding. Now they're into southern California, extreme southern Nevada, and then into western New Mexico as well. Then you see, this is what I was talking about, those really heavy rainfall rates. And I'm not gonna, this is the last frame of this, but it basically continues for about another 12 hours over this same area, kind of goes back and forth from here, and then it comes back in here. So it's kind of back and forth. Now, here's your categorical outlook for tomorrow. And the fact that they have a slight risk over parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska kind of worries me because I'm expecting this to increase to an enhanced risk. The National Weather Service likes to keep it at a lower risk so that in case something changes in the forecast models drastically, they didn't freak everybody out in that area. But the fact that they're putting a slight risk shows that they have some high confidence that there will be some severe weather. Usually they keep it down to marginal for a day two outlook. So definitely some severe weather that's going to be popping up over parts of the northern plains. Now here's your chance of any type of severe weather, and you have a 5% in those browns. You see that over parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of southern Arizona, and then into this big swath over here for parts of the UP of Michigan, Minnesota, most of Wisconsin, almost all of Iowa, even parts of Indiana, and then into a little bit of South Dakota, Nebraska, and then the tiniest bit of Kansas over there. You have a 15% chance over here in this yellow, and then you have a significant risk for severe weather in this black. Now here's all the systems in the Atlantic right now. You have Lorenzo out over here, Jerry over here, which does look to actually go off to sea, so not going to affect any land. And then you have Karen over here, which we're going to go into further detail. Going to move kind of like this, and then the models have it steering directly west, kind of like that, and that's due to this ridge of warmer upper air levels and heights, and that's gonna lead to Karen kind of have to steer around it and possibly hitting parts of the northern Bahamas, which were hit by Dorian, and then into Florida. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it can drift out to see if this ridge kind of breaks, but it does not look like that will be likely. If it does impact those areas, it will most likely be a low-end Category 1 or a high-end tropical storm. That's what it's looking like right now. And then also this little yellow area, less than a 40% chance of development, but if it does develop, it should be right around this northern Mexico area into central Mexico. Here's the key messages for Karen. Regardless of Karen's status as a tropical cyclone, the system is expected to bring tropical storm force winds, heavy rainfall, flash floods, and mudslides to Puerto Rico and the U.S. British Islands on Tuesday, where a tropical storm warning is in effect. Now we're going to look at these maps in just a moment. Here's your earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. So you see that there's dates over here. So if you're on this line, that means that you're going to be receiving your tropical storm force winds most likely by Monday at 2 p.m. And then it continues. So it's pretty self-explanatory. And one thing I do want to point out is that you see how it kind of shifts like that. A very broad cone of uncertainty, anywhere from Bermuda to the Bahamas. So a pretty large gap once we get about 2 days out. And it does actually have a general turn this way, but some models take it up north, which those models have the high pressure kind of breaking and weakening so that it allows the system to move north. Here's what the models are saying. So like I was saying, you see how it takes a sudden turn west, and that's due to this high pressure, of course. Some models, like the EGRI, are taking this north more than all of these models down here. That's because they have the high pressure centered more north. So it's still steering it, but steering it more to the Carolinas instead of Florida and the Bahamas. Here's what the National Weather Service is saying. It's keeping it a tropical storm this entire way, and then you see that sudden turn west. Those blues over here around Puerto Rico, almost all of Puerto Rico is under a tropical storm warning around the coast. here's the intensity guidance. So I would disregard the COTI model. We saw it overachieving on the Dorian, on tropical storm, on Hurricane Dorian, and it was actually correct. It was calling for a Category 5 the entire time, but but it's not a very reliable model. That was a one-off chance, and I don't think it's gonna be right this time. I think my forecast is around the tropical storm to a low-end Category 1. That's what I think. Now, we're going to talk about our temperatures because I want to just explain this pattern that we've been seeing. So, we'll start, this is for tomorrow. So, your high temperatures for tomorrow, all of these are your high temperatures. So, here we see all this warm air kind of trapped in the south, and it's pretty nice and warm for the entire United States. You see almost all the United States, except for some of those mountains, above 65, 70 degrees, and especially for the southeast and California and Nevada, they're seeing temperatures that are around 90, 95 degrees. Now, as we move to this would be Wednesday, you see the same thing. Not much cooling or warmth or warming, but you do see this kind of cooler air, just a little bit of cooler air into Minnesota and North Dakota. Now, here's Thursday. See that colder air kind of expanding. Now, as we move onto Friday, you see this cold front kind of up here, and you see this colder air kind of push in from Canada, and that's going to lead to some colder temperatures over the northern U.S. Now, as we go into Saturday, I'm not looking at these for the exact temperatures, by the way. I'm just looking for the general pattern. So don't take these, because we're 6 days out, don't take this as if it's going to be your exact temperature. It's going to be exactly 63 degrees as a high or something like that. You see this colder air expand and this warm air move up north to the northeast, and you see temperatures in the northeast right around 85, 90 degrees, which is well above average for this time of year. And then as we move into next Monday, or this coming Monday, you see these temperatures expand a little bit more, and you see even colder temperatures, high temperatures, by the way, in the 40s and 50s over parts of the Northwest. And then this is for Tuesday, the first day of October. And you see that this is a final day, by the way. And you see this really intense gradient over here. You see temperatures on this side of the gradient right around, I'll move this out of the way so you can see, right around 85 degrees. And then you go, I don't know, 30, 40 miles north of that, and then you're seeing temperatures in the 50s. That's a 35 degree gradient over this line, and that's due to this cold front that's been making its way south. I'm gonna be making my October forecast sometime this week, so most likely right around the end of the week I'm gonna be making my October forecast. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video. It really supports my channel. If you do want to see any different type of content and you have a good idea of what you want to see on this channel, then definitely go comment down below any suggestions to improve my content, because I really like to give the best content that I can to you guys. Anyways, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.